Hello again. I sometimes wonder if people realise the sheer scale of recent immigration to our country. I rather suspect not. We tend to speak blithely of Britain as always having been a place which attracted immigrants, and think of the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, and so on, the Normans, the Huguenots, the Caribbeans arriving here after the Second World War. If we think and talk in this vague way and don't consider the matter too closely, then it's possible to persuade ourselves that nothing has really changed and that the current wave of immigration is simply typical of what we've seen in the past. This, at least, is the impression projected via the mainstream media and many politicians. Immigration today is not like that at all in the past, not even remotely. Let's just put in a few figures, and this will explain why things are very different now from the way they have been in this country for 2,000 years or so. Let's start with Julius Caesar visiting England and Claudius invading in AD 43. Over the next few centuries, perhaps 200,000 Romans and other foreigners came to live in this country during the time that it was a Roman province. When they went, there were invasions by the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons. The Anglo-Saxon invasions which followed the withdrawal of Roman forces, estimates for the numbers of people who actually came here vary widely, dramatically in fact, from around 20,000 to perhaps a quarter of a million. Let's use the higher figure. The Huguenots amounted to 80,000 immigrants at most, and they were spread over centuries. Then we have the post-war arrival of Caribbeans in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Let's say that perhaps 500,000 up to the year 2000. Now let's add 1 million people from the Indian subcontinent over the same period. These are very generous figures, most likely overestimates, but it will give us an upper figure for immigration to this country over the course of 2,000 years of around 2 million people. Of course, there were small numbers of other people coming, sailors jumping ships, people coming to live here, and so on, but these were really tiny numbers. Those waves of immigration of which I've just been speaking amounted at most to 2 million people. Let's look at the last few years. Population of the United Kingdom in 2001 was a little over 58 million. By 2021, this had increased to 67 million. That rise in population being almost entirely due to immigration. This means that in those 20 years, between 4 and 5 times as many immigrants came to this country as had arrived in the preceding 2,000 years. Before 2000, our population growth had been steady and small, driven mainly by natural increase. Now it is rapid and driven entirely by immigration. Nothing even remotely like this has ever happened in the history of this country. Previous waves of immigration, such as the Romans, Anglo-Saxons, and Huguenots, took place over a timescale measured in centuries, so there was no sudden influx of newcomers. Changes were gradual. These days, the changes are measured in years and months. This is unprecedented, and the only other countries which have experienced such population changes on such a scale in so short a length of time are those which have been subject to war and invasion by a foreign power.